Well, welcome to Business Influencers. Welcome. Hope everyone is having a great week. Glad that you found us here at the TALRadio station. Business Influencers now has been around since October of last year, and we are gaining so much momentum thanks to you guests each and every week joining us here, where we bring in guest experts, sharing their words of wisdom and insight to help move your business and personal success to the next level. We hope everyone's having a great week, and we highly encourage you to reach out to us with any questions at chris@christophersalem.com. Your insight is highly valuable to us, and anything that we can do to provide continued value, things that will help move your business and personal success to the next level, feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to do that. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to be talking about how to use emotional intellect to succeed in business. And we were here with Marques Ogden, and a little background about Marques before we formally bring him onto the show. In 2003, he was drafted into the NFL as an offensive lineman. And after 5 years of playing in the league, he decided to retire to pursue a career in construction and contracting. At the age of 27, Marques founded a construction company called Kamekomuer Enterprises. The company had fast growth, and in 2010, but eventually his business went bankrupt, losing almost $2 million on one project in a matter of 90 days. During his darkest hours, he pulled himself together, got a part-time job as a custodian, and hard work and determination became an inspirational keynote speaker, executive coach, best-selling author, a marketing leader, helping to build the success of others. And I know Marques personally, myself, and without further ado, we welcome Marques Ogden to the show. How you doing, Marques?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are you?
Doing great. Well, we are so excited to have you on the show, and we'd love to, talk about the emotional intellect. I think that is so important. I'm a big advocate of emotional well-being as a foundation for anything successful, starting at the individual level. And sometimes when we go through very difficult situations and dark times, they can actually be blessings in disguise to where we are and where we're going. Let's talk about, from your perspective, about the importance of emotional intellect when it comes to succeeding in business and your personal success.
So, Chris, every person that worked with somebody else, right? It's got to like that person. Now, you're not going to take your business, your money, things that you work hard for, which again is your finances, your money, investing your time. You're not going to do these things, right, Chris, and work with somebody that you don't like. It's just not going to happen. It's not even feasible. So many people focus on the hard skills, competency in their business, knowing how to engage people, in a certain aspect of that business. And I think that's very important as well. But in order to actually get to the point of actually doing business, being competent in business, you have to first have clients, right? And clients are not going to work with somebody that they don't like. Now, people will work for a boss that they don't like because they have to make a paycheck, right? But eventually, if you keep that up, which I did, which is why my construction company, Caden, failed, I became very egotistical, very self-centered, very focused on just me. And because of that, my best employees start to feel jaded, start to feel unappreciated. And that emotional connection I had with them at the start withered away to nothing. They were off, they were gone. So literally, I can tell you from experience and being a business owner that did it the right way, had success, then lost everything, having no emotional intellect and having no emotional intelligence to meet people where they were, his team, clients, etc. It is a real thing. And if you're not careful, it can either make you or break you.
Yeah, that's so true. So let's talk about emotional intellect. What are some of the things that you recommend, Marques, that people do to kind of really, have this be part of their strategy and their foundation in building a successful business?
That's a great question, Chris. So we are doing a speaking job next month it's called IMFA, the Maple Flooring Manufacturers Association. It's a 150-year plus old association of like all different companies that work within like the hardware floor, gym floor business. And we're talking to them February 24th, excuse me, in Austin, Texas. And as part of this, we're talking about how to connect with your people by showing compassion and or empathy. And again, business owners need to understand, yes, make sure the clients you're working for pay you on time, especially in that business. Don't get screwed over. I get all that. That's on the external side of running the business. On the internal side of running the business, you need to be able to connect with your team and your employees. And you need to be a servant leader that is able to help people understand that you are serving them and a cause greater than yourself. So you really can focus on these things by being compassionate, showing empathy, and really, Chris, plain and simply, meeting your people where they are, knowing where they're at, where they're trying to get to, and being that emotional individual that, of course, you have to get your job done, but support them so they know that you're not just trying to drive them for profit, but you're actually caring about their overall well-being and their mental health as well.
Yeah, I think that's so important. What are some of the things that you recommend, Marques, like in terms of resources? I know certain organizations can, they'll have an employee assistance provider. And a lot of times that EAP will provide those types of resources for, and when it comes to emotional well-being, mental well-being and all that. But what if there are certain organizations that maybe they're smaller, maybe they may not have that capability? What would you recommend some resources that they tap into?
Well, first things first, I would just tell people to tap into great podcasts like this. I mean, podcasts are free content. It's a way to gather information, to gather action steps to move your business forward, right? That's what I did when I started speaking, right, Chris? Like, I couldn't afford coaches and all these other things. I mean, I would love to, but I couldn't. But I could afford to download Spotify for free or use my Apple podcast for free to listen to great podcasts and great content. And getting some ideas, getting some strategies from people who are experts or people that are at least doing well in your respective industry. And doing that, that's how you can gain access. So you don't have to try to go out and implement things like, huge investments, huge, cost in the beginning, because you might not have that. But podcasts are great. Reading books are great. Go on YouTube, watch some YouTube videos of people who are speaking. I did that with Tony Robbins. That was a great way I started. So I followed Tony Robbins through podcasts and YouTube when I started my business in 2013. That's how I started, because I didn't have any money to hire anybody. So I just started to work on my self-development, work on my personal and professional brand as a whole. And then it led me to some opportunities down the line.
Wow, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. And, and let's talk about, why, this is something like, how companies can really effectively grow, Marques, going forward when they constantly are implementing this emotional intellect down the road. Like, does this impact like how people engage one another, how they communicate at a higher level, how they make decisions and so on?
Oh, everything you said is exactly what it does. It helps people make better impacts in their business. It improves communication between your frontline workers, your mid-level managers, your C-level executives, and your ownership. It makes a better connection, a better conduit between you and your client base. Because again, it's internal with your team, with your process and your systems. But if you have strong internal, right, Chris, it leads to strong external, which is client interaction, prospective client dialogue and, sales process. You're going through that whole, trying to get them to on board. All of that is heavily impacted by emotional intellect. So the more you're doing it and the more you are aware of it, the more likely you're going to have not just internal success, but also external success as well.
Wow. Well, I know personally, I went through this, this journey myself over 23 years ago, and making this dive into emotional intelligence. And I had to get myself right, because, how could you be an example for others or be a resource if you didn't do it for yourself? Talk about the importance of, people taking ownership of this individually, and not just, assuming that somebody else is going to be the one that's going to pick up the ball and run with it.
Chris, that's a great question. You need to create focus and discipline and become a laser that cuts through a diamond, not a light bulb trying to brighten up an entire room when it comes to taking ownership of being and using your emotional intellect. Now, when you're trying to meet people and you're trying to inspire people, being a light bulb and shining bright is awesome. It's phenomenal. I love doing that on stage. I'm sure, Chris, just like you do.
Yes.
But when it's time to actually get down to business, when it's time to execute and say, I need to get better at communicating with my staff, I need to get better at communicating with my potential clients. Perfect example. One of my clients, young lady, her name is Dawn, and she lives out, she lives in Arizona. She works with a gentleman who is a guy that people don't like. And so he was asking her the other day, well, how come, I don't have any new client referrals like you do for all these other people? How come these other people are getting this client, this business and that, and I'm not getting anything? Well, Dawn simply told him, well, I introduced you to all these people, but they didn't like you. And the fact they don't like you, they don't want to interact with you, which means they don't want to do business with you. So that really hit home with me yesterday, hearing her say that, because it's so important that people need to understand that you can have a great business, you can be successful. This guy is successful in his own right.
Yep.
But to scale and to really create that, what I call that Michael Strahan appeal, where everybody likes you, or that Keanu Reeves appeal, right? You have to develop and you have to sustain really strong emotional intellect. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah, I definitely do. What would be some of the suggestions that you would suggest for people to go about doing that? Whether if it's, starting with them individually, and if it's their company, to start implementing that in their organization, regardless of size.
First thing first, you have to look in the mirror and you have to ask yourself that question. Do I have good emotional intellect? Do I connect with my team well? Do I listen well? And again, Chris, listen to comprehend and understand, not listen to just respond and fire back.
Yeah. Huge
difference. So you have to check yourself first, right? And I remember with Caden, when I lost everything with my head in my hand on that curb, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, in my rearview mirror, in my little broken down car that I was just basically driving at this bit, just barely hanging on to get from home to work. I said, wow, Marques, you're the one that screwed this up. You're the one that lost sight of people. You're the one that lost sight of how to connect with others. You're the one that lost sight of how to treat people as gold and make them part of the overall process. You got focused on the money. You got focused on all the external factors that didn't matter. And because of that, your company floundered and it flopped. Whereas today, my business partner, Dawn, we have conversations on stuff. We dialogue. All of our team can dialogue. Dawn, George, Albert, Donovan. We're adding a new person, Ben, here next month. Everyone has the ability to say, hey, I think we should try it this way. Okay, that makes sense. Try it that way. There is no there is no Marcus's way. It's the team's way. So I could look myself in the mirror today, Chris, and know that I'm a person that is big on emotional intellect, I'm a person that delivers what I'm saying I'm going to deliver, and I have no ego. But if you're trying to implement these things in your own business, you have to look, especially if a small business, you have to check yourself. Because here's the thing, if you try to implement with your team emotional intellect for them to do, but you're not doing it, they're only going to do it surface level.
Yep.
And we had a guy on our podcast, Tom McCarthy, who talked about the way in which you can pull from your superconscious, aka your subconscious. You have to dig down to your soul and you have to pull from there. And that's where I believe strong emotional intellect, lies. And in that soul, in that superconscious, that can break down 40 million bits of information in seconds. That's why Tom Brady is Tom Brady. That's why Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. That's why Kobe was Kobe. That's why Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs. That's why, Bill Gates is who he is. Warren Buffett is who he is, right? These are the factors. These are the people that have pulled from their super, aka their subconscious. Yeah. So in order to start that, right, Chris?
Yeah.
You have to look in the mirror and say, am I doing emotional intellect every day? Not every other day, not every once in a while. I said every day that I'm doing, because if I'm not doing it every day, my team that I serve or should be serving is not going to follow suit.
Well, what I loved what you just said there, Marques, is the consistency. And it's not once in a while. Once in a while gets you once in a while results. It's being consistent every day. What do you recommend that people that maybe don't have that discipline yet, right? They use discipline to get consistent in this particular area.
So what they have to do is, in order to get this, you have to create structure, routine, and habit for yourself. Once you create structure, a routine, and you can manage your time efficiently and become disciplined, then you can start trying to make adjustments to getting more emotional intellect and getting more better communication. But it all starts with creating a regimen that you can live with. So like me, 5 a.m. every day or 5:15, I'm up, help get my wife and daughter off because my wife's a teacher, my daughter's in 2nd grade. I'm at the gym, right? Some days it's lift, or it's lift 6 days a week. It's some form of cardio 7, right? But sometimes it could be running, it could be swimming, it could be boxing, it could be, jump rope, it could be whatever, right? But that's my regimen. Some days it's a little bit long because I don't have a call till 9. Some days it's a little bit short because I have a call at 8. But I have that setup. I've got that flow. And because that flow has been created, I'm able to execute at the highest level. So anybody listening, to create discipline, you have to create a structure, and you have to manage your time efficiently and effectively. One of my good friends, Tom McCarthy, has a great saying: maximum effort times maximum effectiveness equals maximum results. And you get maximum effort by the drive to do something, but maximum effectiveness comes in strategy, comes in time management, comes in how you do what you do best, how you delegate the rest. And that's how you build to get maximum results.
I think that's a great formula there. And I think that is so highly valuable. Can you mention that again? I really want you to drive that home.
Yeah. Maximum effort times maximum effectiveness equals maximum results. Pack your day with action, right? Be someone that packs your day with action. Be strategic and tactical. Work hard, yet work smarter. That's the key. Hard work is absolutely necessary, but combining hard work with working even smarter than you are working harder, that's great. And so when my partner comes over every Thursday, she does things on her list, I do things on mine. Like today, she booked a flight for us for going to San Diego for a job. We had to rearrange a PowerPoint. She had to book a flight for us to go to Cleveland, took care of all the other stuff. She does what she does. That's working on PowerPoints and some content for us to post and all these things. That's what she does. That's how we are effective. Because if I'm trying to do what she does, I'm not doing what I do, best, the company's going to struggle, and I can't pay her the fee she deserves. I can't give her bonuses because we don't have any work. Because we're sitting here, we're basically, we're pulling in the wrong direction. So with her, she is doing everything maximum effort. So am I. We are effective in the strategy, which produces maximum results.
No, I love that. I love that. Anything else that you would love to share? You like to share about emotional intellect and what organizations or people that are striving to grow their businesses, other things that they should know about emotional intellect to move that forward?
I'll close with this. Understand every business is run off human capital, human beings. If you want to thrive in business, learn to meet people where they are and be a great servant leader. Don't tell them or show them where to go. Grab their hand and take them where they need to go. No, don't grab and pull. Grab somebody that wants to go to new heights, that wants to ascend, meet them where they are, take them where they want to be by being a great servant leader. People like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. These were great and or are great leaders that take people where they want to go. So that's what I'll close with. In order to really make emotional intellect part of your overall brand, you have to be a servant leader that takes people where they want to go.
I love that. Marques, thank you so much for sharing all this valuable insight on emotional intellect. And it is so important here. And we here at Business Influencers fully support everything that you're doing. And we would love to have the listeners get to know you a little bit more. What are some of the best ways that they can get in contact with you, what you're up to, where you're going to be, where they may be able to see you speak out there? I know with COVID, but there are still events happening where people could come out and see you.
Yeah, they can go to our website, www.marquesogden, Ogden.com, or you can shoot us an email, marques@marquesogden.com. Connect with us, reach out to us. Let's have a discussion. Follow us on social. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Connect with us. Let's have a conversation. See if we can help you turn your goals into accomplishments.
Wow, powerful stuff. Again, we highly encourage everybody that's listening or will be listening later here to check out and get to know Marques and his organization and everything they're doing to help move people's business and personal success through the power of emotional intellect. We highly support that here at Business Influencers. Marques, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. We want to thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here. Again, we are committed to bringing in people like Marques in each and every week that sharing their words of wisdom and insights from personal experience. This is all about personal experience. We're not talking about theory. We're talking personal experience to help move your business and personal success to the next level. We know that when people share genuine content like Marques did here today, this is what connects and resonates with people to now take ownership for themselves to begin to move things forward. And we are committed to bringing those types of people in each and every week. Till then, we'll see you in next week here at the same time. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and we'll see you then.